For years, it existed only as a rumour whispered among archivists, former aides, and the few royal insiders trusted with Queen Elizabeth's most private papers. Yet, according to recent reports, attention has once again turned toward a single sealed letter hidden within Windsor's protected records. What allegedly made the document so extraordinary was not simply its contents, but the claim that Meghan had reportedly sought access to it while Elizabeth ensured it remained permanently beyond reach. Before we go deeper into what this really means for the royal family, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single update. The renewed fascination surrounding the alleged letter did not emerge from an official palace announcement or a carefully prepared statement. Instead, it began with scattered comments attributed to individuals familiar with the royal archives, comments that slowly reignited one of the monarchy's most persistent mysteries. For decades, Queen Elizabeth was known for maintaining meticulous private records, preserving correspondence that captured pivotal moments in royal history. Most of those documents eventually entered established archival systems, catalogued and protected according to long-standing protocols. Yet a small number reportedly remained subject to extraordinary restrictions. Among them was a letter that, according to royal observers, carried a level of protection rarely seen even within the most confidential sections of the Crown's records. The fact that it remained sealed year after year naturally fueled speculation, but the mystery deepened considerably when reports surfaced suggesting that Meghan had once shown an interest in learning more about it. Almost immediately, competing theories began circulating. Some believed the letter might contain personal reflections from Elizabeth regarding a sensitive family matter. Others suggested it could relate to decisions that shaped the modern monarchy behind closed doors. None of these claims were ever verified, but the absence of confirmation only seemed to strengthen public curiosity. The more questions emerged, the more observers became convinced that the document represented something significant. Royal commentators began revisiting old interviews, archived reports, and forgotten anecdotes in search of clues. Every fragment of information appeared to point toward the same conclusion. This was not merely another sealed royal record. Something about it had convinced Elizabeth that its contents should remain inaccessible regardless of changing circumstances or growing public interest. What transformed a historical curiosity into a headline-generating controversy, however, was the alleged connection to Meghan. Reports claiming she had sought information about the document introduced an entirely new dimension to the story. Whether the interest stemmed from personal curiosity, historical significance, or something else entirely remains unclear. Yet the suggestion alone was enough to trigger intense scrutiny. Why would a sealed letter attract such attention? Why had it remained protected despite years of speculation? And perhaps most importantly, why was Queen Elizabeth reportedly so determined that access would never be granted? Those questions quickly spread beyond royal circles and into international media coverage, where discussions became increasingly intense. As journalists, historians, and royal watchers searched for answers, the mystery only seemed to grow. Every attempt to explain the document's significance raised even more questions than it resolved. And while the public focused on the sealed letter itself, few realized that the origins of the mystery stretched much further back than anyone initially suspected, back to a time when the document was virtually unknown outside an exceptionally small circle of trusted palace insiders. But the mystery surrounding the letter began long before anyone outside palace walls had even heard of its existence. Long before the current controversy emerged, Queen Elizabeth maintained one of the most carefully protected collections of personal correspondence in royal history. According to historians, certain documents were separated from official state records and placed under extraordinary restrictions. Among those materials, insiders claim, sat a small group of letters considered so sensitive that access procedures remained unusually strict even by royal standards. The deeper researchers examined the royal archive, the more they discovered a system built upon an almost absolute distinction between duty and privacy. Throughout her reign, Queen Elizabeth oversaw countless official communications connected to government affairs, diplomatic matters, constitutional responsibilities, and state business. Those records followed established archival procedures and eventually became part of the historical record. Yet alongside those formal documents existed another category, entirely personal correspondence. These were letters exchanged beyond the machinery of government, communications tied not to institutions but to relationships, confidences, private reflections, and moments never intended for public scrutiny. According to royal historians, Elizabeth regarded that distinction as sacred, and she reportedly took extensive measures to ensure certain personal materials remained separated from official collections. Such practices were hardly unprecedented within royal history. For centuries, monarchs have preserved select documents under seal, believing that immediate disclosure could create misunderstanding, controversy, or unintended consequences. Historians often point to examples where private royal letters remained hidden for decades before eventually entering the public domain. Some revealed family tensions, others exposed political disagreements or deeply personal struggles. In nearly every case, the secrecy itself became part of the story. The longer a document remained inaccessible, the more fascination surrounded it. Yet, even against that historical backdrop, reports regarding this particular letter stood apart. According to individuals familiar with archival procedures, the restrictions surrounding it were unusually stringent, creating an aura of mystery that persisted year after year. What made the situation even more intriguing was the reported consistency of those protections. Administrations changed, senior staff retired, royal households evolved, public interest rose and fell with successive headlines, yet the document allegedly remained untouched behind the same safeguards. Archivists entrusted with preserving royal records reportedly followed highly specific instructions concerning access, handling, and disclosure. Whether those instructions originated directly from Elizabeth or from long-established archival protocols remains uncertain, but the effect was undeniable. The letter stayed sealed while speculation continued to grow around it. As whispers spread among historians and royal commentators, the mystery gradually transformed from an obscure archival curiosity into something far larger. Every discussion seemed to raise the same unavoidable question. If countless royal documents eventually became accessible to researchers, why had this one remained beyond reach? Why had extraordinary protection survived, despite years of interest from observers determined to understand its significance? The lack of answers only strengthened the intrigue. The document was no longer viewed merely as a piece of correspondence. It had become a symbol of something hidden, something important enough to remain protected, long after many expected those restrictions to ease. And as attention intensified, a new line of inquiry began to emerge. The focus slowly shifted away from the existence of the letter itself and toward the reason it continued to remain sealed, a question that would soon place the mystery at the center of an even larger and more controversial debate. As historians explored the archive's secrets, attention increasingly shifted toward why this particular letter remained sealed. According to various royal commentators, speculation intensified when reports surfaced, suggesting Meghan had allegedly shown interest in reviewing the sealed correspondence. Whether those reports were accurate became almost secondary to the questions they created. Why would one document attract such attention? And what made royal officials reportedly reluctant to allow anyone near it, despite years of changing circumstances? As discussion surrounding the mysterious letter expanded, the narrative began to shift in a significant way. The focus was no longer centered solely on the document itself. Instead, attention turned toward the people connected to it and the implications hidden beneath the growing speculation. Reports suggesting Meghan had allegedly expressed interest in the sealed correspondence quickly became a subject of intense debate among royal commentators. Some questioned the credibility of the claims. Others argued that the story was less important than the reaction it appeared to provoke. What fascinated observers was not merely the suggestion of interest, but the apparent sensitivity surrounding the subject whenever it surfaced. Almost immediately, competing interpretations emerged. Supporters of one theory argued that any interest in such a document would be perfectly understandable. Royal history is built upon records, correspondence, and private papers that often provide valuable context to major events. From that perspective, curiosity alone could explain everything, yet others believed the situation was more complicated. They pointed to the unusual protections surrounding the letter and questioned why discussions about it seemed to generate such caution. If the document contained nothing extraordinary, why had it remained sealed for so long? Why did references to it consistently lead back to layers of restrictions that appeared unusually firm, even by royal standards? The uncertainty created the perfect environment for speculation to thrive. Commentators, historians, and royal watchers began examining every available detail, searching for clues hidden within years of fragmented reports. Some wondered whether the letter related to a deeply personal family matter. Others suggested it might contain reflections on events that shaped relationships within the monarchy. There were even theories that the significance of the document had less to do with its contents and more to do with the individuals connected to it. None of these possibilities could be verified, yet each added another layer to a mystery that seemed to grow more intriguing with every passing discussion. What became increasingly clear was that palace officials reportedly approached the subject with remarkable caution. That caution itself became part of the story. In royal affairs, silence often attracts as much attention as disclosure. Every unanswered question encouraged further examination. Every missing explanation inspired another theory. The result was a cycle that continually fed public curiosity. The more observers searched for certainty, the more elusive certainty became. For many royal watchers, the controversy represented something larger than a single document. It symbolized the enduring tension between transparency and secrecy within one of the world's most scrutinized institutions. The monarchy had spent generations balancing public interest against private protection, and this letter appeared to exist directly at the center of that struggle. That reality transformed a little-known archival mystery into a subject of international fascination. Yet as speculations surrounding Meghan's alleged interest continued to dominate headlines and commentary, another question quietly began gaining momentum behind the scenes. If access had remained restricted for so many years, who exactly was responsible for enforcing those restrictions? And what could the individuals guarding the archive reveal about the extraordinary measures surrounding the document? Those questions would soon direct attention away from the rumors themselves and toward the people entrusted with protecting royal secrets. Yet the more observers discussed Meghan's alleged interest, the more attention shifted toward the archivists protecting the records. What transformed the story from rumor into headline territory was the reported intervention of a royal archivist. According to palace observers, comments allegedly made regarding the sealed letter reignited years of speculation. Though no contents were revealed, the simple acknowledgement of the document's existence proved enough to trigger a fresh wave of questions throughout royal circles. For years, discussions about the mysterious correspondence had survived largely on whispers, second-hand accounts, and fragments of speculation passed between historians and royal commentators. The absence of confirmation allowed skeptics to dismiss the story as little more than another palace legend. Yet that fragile balance changed the moment reports emerged, suggesting that a royal archivist had indirectly referenced the document. No dramatic disclosure occurred, no hidden passages were revealed, no long-guarded secrets suddenly entered public view, and yet, in a strange way, that made the impact even greater. The mere suggestion that someone connected to the archive had acknowledged the letter's existence seemed to transform decades of uncertainty into something far more tangible. Almost overnight, conversations that had once been confined to niche royal discussions began reaching a wider audience. Commentators who had previously ignored the story found themselves revisiting old reports. Historians who specialized in royal records started examining archival practices with renewed interest. Journalists searched for overlooked references buried within years of coverage. The mystery that had lingered quietly in the background was suddenly back at the center of public attention. What made the development so remarkable was that virtually nothing new had been revealed. The contents remained unknown, the author remained uncertain, the recipient remained unconfirmed. Yet confirmation that the document allegedly existed was enough to reignite fascination on a scale few had anticipated. That reaction revealed something important. The story had evolved beyond curiosity about a single letter. It had become a question about secrecy itself. People wanted to know why this particular document had been treated differently from so many others. Royal archives contain countless records, many of which eventually become available to historians after appropriate waiting periods. Yet this letter appeared to occupy a different category entirely. Every indication suggested that unusual protections remained firmly in place. The longer those protections endured, the more significant the document appeared in the eyes of the public. As media coverage expanded, royal historians began weighing in with competing interpretations. Some argued that extraordinary restrictions do not automatically indicate extraordinary content. They pointed out that monarchs often seal personal correspondence for reasons that have little to do with controversy. Others disagreed, suggesting that the persistence of the secrecy was itself noteworthy. If the document were entirely routine, why had interest surrounding it survived for so many years? Why did discussions about it repeatedly resurface despite the lack of concrete information? Those questions circulated endlessly, creating a cycle in which every attempted explanation generated fresh uncertainty. The result was paradoxical. Instead of reducing speculation, the archivists' reported comments seemed to amplify it. Every answer produced new questions. Every clarification opened another avenue of debate. Far from settling the mystery, the acknowledgement deepened it. The public now had reason to believe the document was real, but still lacked any understanding of why it mattered. That gap between confirmation and explanation became the driving force behind a new wave of fascination. And as the discussion continued to spread, attention gradually began shifting away from the archivist and toward a far more consequential question. If Queen Elizabeth had personally ensured such extraordinary protections remained in place, what was it that convinced her the letter should stay hidden for so long? The search for that answer would soon become the most compelling chapter of the entire mystery. As the archivist's comments spread, discussion moved beyond the letter itself and toward Queen Elizabeth's reasons for sealing it. For many observers, the most fascinating question was not what the letter contained, but why Queen Elizabeth allegedly insisted it remain inaccessible. Throughout her reign, she rarely acted without careful consideration. According to royal historians, decisions involving personal correspondence often reflected long-term thinking designed to protect both individuals and the institution itself. According to many royal analysts, the sealed letter quickly became symbolic of something much larger. At its core stood a timeless royal question: who controls the story of the past? What began as curiosity about a document evolved into a wider debate concerning memory, influence, and the preservation of Queen Elizabeth's legacy for future generations. As public fascination continued to grow, the mystery gradually shifted away from the contents of the letter and toward the reasoning behind its protection. Queen Elizabeth's reputation was built upon patience, discipline, and an extraordinary ability to think beyond immediate controversies. Historians have long noted that when she chose to restrict access to certain records, those decisions were rarely impulsive. They were often designed to serve a purpose that might only become clear years or even decades later. That reality led many observers to wonder whether the sealed letter represented less of a secret and more of a safeguard. Perhaps the document was never intended to hide history, but rather to protect it from being misunderstood before the right moment arrived. This possibility transformed the entire debate. The mystery was no longer simply about one piece of correspondence locked away in an archive. It became a conversation about reputation, responsibility, and legacy. Royal commentators began drawing comparisons with other moments in history, when sensitive records remained sealed to preserve context, prevent speculation, or shield individuals from immediate scrutiny. The longer they examined Elizabeth's approach, the more they argued that the decision reflected her broader philosophy of stewardship. She understood that history is often shaped not only by what is revealed, but also by when it is revealed. As a result, the letter evolved into a symbol. For some, it represented unanswered questions. For others, it embodied the monarchy's ongoing struggle to balance transparency with preservation. Every theory, every debate, and every headline seemed to circle back to the same issue: who ultimately controls the narrative of the past? Was the letter protecting a person, a relationship, an institution, or a legacy carefully built across an entire reign? No definitive answers emerged, yet public fascination only intensified, and as discussions about memory, influence, and Elizabeth's long-term vision spread across royal circles, reactions reportedly began emerging from every corner of royal society, setting the stage for the next phase of the controversy. Soon, reactions reportedly began emerging from every corner of royal society. What started as a discussion about one sealed document soon evolved into one of the most talked about royal mysteries in recent memory. Historians, commentators, former palace staff, and devoted royal followers all seem to arrive at the same conclusion. Whatever the truth behind the letter, its significance extended far beyond the paper on which it was written. As reactions spread across royal circles, competing theories emerged from every direction. Some believed the letter contained personal reflections. Others argued it may have related to a pivotal moment in royal history. Yet, despite countless debates, no definitive answer ever surfaced. Instead, the mystery continued to grow, fueled by the very absence of certainty. The fascination surrounding the document revealed something deeper about the relationship between the monarchy and public memory. Royal insiders reportedly discussed not only what the letter might contain, but what its continued secrecy represented. Historians questioned how future generations would interpret records that remained inaccessible. Commentators debated whether preserving certain documents protected history or merely postponed difficult conversations. With every discussion, public curiosity reached new levels, and pressure for answers steadily increased. Yet the more people searched for certainty, the clearer it became that the story had evolved beyond the document itself. In the end, the mystery endured because it represented something uniquely powerful within royal history. Not every question receives an answer. Not every document is opened. According to many observers, the sealed letter serves as a final reminder of Queen Elizabeth's extraordinary ability to shape and protect her legacy long after the moment had passed. The document remains unresolved, the questions remain unanswered, and the speculation continues. But perhaps that is precisely why the story has endured. The significance of the letter no longer depends on what is written inside it. Its power comes from what it symbolizes. The enduring tension between curiosity and preservation, between disclosure and discretion, between history itself and the people entrusted to protect it. Because in royal history, a sealed letter may remain hidden for decades, but the questions it leaves behind can echo for generations. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you in next one.